Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
So I just want to make a special, in this public setting, a special thank you to our corporate partners. The MTA has made it possible for Jesse Frigo, an Army veteran, to be an intern there, contractor, transitioning to permanent employment, and he has a specialty and has studied at John Jay the Masters in Cybersecurity. How perfect is that to go work for the MTA? The Port Authority has made it possible for Jawan Johnson, a Navy veteran who's graduating on May 31st, who with a security there we go, hi. With a bachelor's in security management to work as a security operations management intern at the Port Authority. Thank you, Port Authority. Kyle Grant, who's a protection management student in the BS program here, now works in the operations center at First Data. Now, First Data, who's our First Data? Tiffany, where are you? There she is. Can I give you your shout out? First Data won the award as Best for Vets. Is that right? The number one Best for Vets by Military Times, First Data, and we're proud to call you a partner here at John Jay. And thank you for giving Kyle Grant an opportunity. Elizabeth de la Cruz an opportunity. Did I say Kyle Grant? Oh, both of them, right, okay, got it. And we'll hear from T-Mobile in a second, who's made possible the scholarships that we're announcing today. And there are other ways in which our corporate partners are involved with the work here at John Jay, and we're very, very grateful to them.
Everyone should just think about this on an ongoing basis. There are 23 million veterans in the United States. There are 2.5 million on active duty. And when you throw in the family multiplier of approximately 4, that's well over 100 million people. That's a very important number. And it's important because, you know, the value proposition that veterans bring to our society is extraordinary.
We celebrate at T-Mobile diversity, inclusion, uniqueness, and we want people to be here to change the world. One may ask what the value of air is or what the value of dirt is. It depends who you are. If you're in the radio business, if you're in the airline business, or if you're a fish or you're a mammal, the value of air is going to be different to you in every single situation. Yet air is here, right? And yet it is an invisible element that sustains our life. Mind-blowing when you think about what the value of air is. When you think about what the value of dirt is, you could be a real estate agent or a farmer to grow a crop, but the value of dirt is going to be different and very relevant depending on who you are and how you view that. Philo T. Farnsworth, at age 14, was plowing a field in Idaho. If you've ever gone to Yellowstone National Park, it's not far from there. And he was plowing a field with a horse and plow, and he looked down and saw furrows. And those furrows, in his mind, in Philo's 14-year-old mind, became the megapixels of television. Is that phenomenal? He saw a different value in dirt and in air that has changed the world forever. Amazing. Earning a degree unlocks doors and it opens doors, but the knowledge and the leadership may unlock something much more powerful. It is your human potential that will determine the progress of the future of this world, and the people in this room, I am confident, are some of the most elite to unlock that great potential. Eliza Anderson and Rondell Holland have demonstrated massive potential. We at T-Mobile are so proud to honor both of them for their accomplishments and be a small, tiny part of their success when we honor them today.
John Jay is a phenomenal institution through and through. but it especially stands out for the services that it provides for their military students. They give veterans an opportunity for recognition, such as this, but they also have a warm, inclusive community that connects them with other service members so that they don't feel like outsiders amongst traditional students. Completing this master program was very difficult because I ended up getting deployed in the little bit, about midway through the program. I got deployed right after being married for only about 6 months, and right when I was about to start my new career with the MTA. They actually hired me right before my deployment. It was terrible, terrible timing, but Uncle Sam apparently does not have a watch.
I went through a traumatic experience in my life, which changed me dramatically when I lost my son. And the first person I called crying, bawling on the knees in a fetal position was my mother. And she helped me get through the most difficult time of my life when I had no one else to turn to. I want to thank and dedicate this opportunity that I got to get a chance to be here, most importantly to my mother, and thank you all.
I am here to say thank you to Rondell, Vanessa, Ho-Jin, and John. Would you all come on up? I know that those of you in the military are familiar with the term force multiplier, but those of you who don't know that term, it simply means that it's a force multiplier is something that dramatically increases the effectiveness of an individual or an item or a group. And you guys, our student leaders, are our force multipliers at John Jay.
Well, thank you for that very warm welcome. And good morning, President Travis and Vice President Cook Francis, Richard, of course, other distinguished guests, and the family members of the graduating seniors. But of course, good morning to all the graduating veteran seniors of the John Jay class of 2017. I know I'm one of the last speakers here, so really I'm going to tone it down just 3 or 4 hours of your time, and I'll wrap up here. But I'm sure I'm not the first one to congratulate each of you on this incredible achievement. You've already been congratulated a lot today and probably at home as well. But I want to say it anyway. Congratulations to each and every one of you for what you've accomplished over the last 4 years or so and walking across the stage in a couple of weeks. I'm truly honored to be a part of your celebration today. So is my wife, Dahlia. And I'm humbled to be in the room of so many of you who are taking ownership of your future and really setting yourselves up for success down the line. Criminal justice actually has been an important part of my background, and regardless of what you do with your degrees from John Jay, your time here and what you've learned is invaluable. I served as both a criminal defense counsel and then as a criminal prosecutor in the Marine Corps, and I learned a lot about myself and about other people along the way. I also worked for 3 years with the FBI as an attorney on a counterterrorism team in Washington, D.C., and that was a very fulfilling and enlightening opportunity. But how we address criminal action in our country, and perhaps more importantly, the underlying causes for this activity, is one of the ways that we're going to either succeed or fail as a nation. In one way or another, each one of you will be a part of that. Now, I know a lot of you are probably nervous about what's coming next after graduation, but trust me when I tell you this. Any of us who are a little bit older than you, and some of us are getting much older than you, unfortunately, we would jump at the chance to trade places with you. You're in such an exciting time and place right now, and all of us who have walked in your shoes know that. The world is wide open for you right now, and I mean it when I say to you that you can do anything that you want. And I know many of you wouldn't, or none of you would have, I know none of you would be here today if it weren't for others around you, some important people in your lives. That includes family members, high school teachers and coaches, battle buddies, professors here at John Jay, and others who pushed you when you needed it, but also lent you a helping hand when you needed it. None of us accomplishes anything in life of significance without other people. And I think each of you certainly understand the value of a strong and solid fire team. So while I'm proud of each one of you today, I'm also equally as excited for all of those who have stood by you and been with you over the last few years. And if you don't mind, I'd like to give them a big round of applause right now as well. Now, many of you are probably familiar with Winston Churchill's quote when he said, "Never in the field of human conflict has so much been owed by so many to so few." At that time, he was referring to the ongoing efforts of the Royal Air Force pilots who were fighting the Battle of Britain, which was a pivotal air battle with the German Luftwaffe. His quote is even more relevant today. Of course, we've already heard that less than 1% of the U.S. population serves in today's military, and you all are a part of that 1%. Our military, as we all know in this room, has been called upon time and time again over the last 15 years, and that's not changing anytime soon. What you've been asked to do and sacrifice is incredible, but you all signed up for this responsibility with your eyes wide open. Whatever your role in the military was, and in some way continuing to be, you are each a critical part of our nation's national security. Very few others have chosen to walk in your shoes, and you're truly part of an elite group that has put sacrifice and service before yourselves. Not many other people can say that. And now, at the risk of sounding too serious at such a fun occasion, I have to say, when I look out and see your faces, why I'm struggling is because I can't forget about some of the Marines, thinking about some of the Marines with our battalion in Iraq. I'll never forget a memorial service we had for 6 of these young heroes who were killed fighting the enemy. And it was an especially sad day because in the front of the room were their boots and rifles and dog tags for them. But when I think about these young heroes, I also think about the 2 young men who saved my life over there. You know, as you may have read in the introduction, I was shot in the head by a sniper. And when Corman Grant turned me over, and he was the same rank as you, and so I feel like I'm looking at him when I see you, same exact uniform. When he rolled me over, I was no longer breathing. Even though the sniper was still trying to shoot the rest of the Marines in our squad, George performed rescue breathing on me to bring me back to life, and he cut out my throat and performed emergency tracheotomy so I wouldn't drown in my own blood. Now, keep in mind that George, he was a young kid. He had never performed that type of surgery on a human being before. He had done it once in a training program for Navy corpsmen out at Camp Pendleton before the deployment, and he performed that surgery on a pig. So I don't know what it says about me, but you know, that pig's running around somewhere, and so am I. So I guess it's all good. But George did such a perfect job of my tracheotomy that my plastic surgeon at the Naval Hospital in Bethesda told me he thought another surgeon had performed it. And then minutes later, 21-year-old Marine Corporal Jordan Bueller drove me at 70 miles an hour to get me to an aid station so he could stabilize me and start operating on me. That's no big deal here in the States. We drive, well, not here. We drive 70 miles an hour, not here, but everywhere else in the country we do. But at that time in Iraq, we had a standing order to not drive faster than 15 miles an hour because of the risk of hitting the hidden roadside bombs along the way. I know that many of you in this audience can relate to this from your time, whether it's in Vietnam or Iraq and Afghanistan. We literally hit IEDs every day back then, and we learned the hard way. If we drove faster than 15 miles an hour, we dramatically increased the chances of causing a vehicle to flip end over end and potentially killing everyone inside that vehicle. But just like Corman Grant had done minutes earlier, Jordan Bueller put his own life on the line to drive me at 70 miles an hour to get me to the aid station in what they call the golden hour, which is so critical after a traumatic injury. So thanks to a 25-year-old Navy corpsman and a 21-year-old Marine corporal, I'm still here today. That is what you represent to me. And that's what I mean when I say the whole world is wide open to you, to each and every one of you right now. You're only limited by your imaginations on what it is that you can do with the degrees that you earn here, and how you're going to continue to have a positive impact on American society. Your generation is challenging the way that we think and act on a number of levels, and I think that's fantastic. You probably wake up every day, not to an alarm clock like someone old like me, but to your favorite song on your smartphone. And the first person you talk to is Siri or Alexa or some other cloud-based assistant. You don't use notes like this. You have, like Eliza, you have all your notes on your cell phone. She's smarter than I am. And maybe the rest of us are really lucky. After you wake up, you send out a tweet telling us that you're going to take a shower and what you're going to wear for the day, because we all want to know that. Over breakfast, you don't read the paper. You have Google Alerts send you the articles that you want to see on issues that you care about. And with unlimited data plans, especially with T-Mobile, you're going to text all day long. You know, it never ends. The point is, you're all connected with each other and with your friends in an unprecedented way. And you're very aware of not just what's going on in your little circles, but with people halfway around the world as well. But far more than that has changed in the recent decades. You've pushed the envelope on things that in the workplace right now, challenging the more traditional idea that a good employee spends all of his or her time at his or her desk, and that you have to be in the office at least 8 hours a day. Why not use alternative work schedules, work from home more, leverage the internet and other communication models to make the world around you as user-friendly as possible? Why not encourage your employers to align themselves with nonprofits to make our communities safer and stronger? Why not focus less on a paycheck and more on an impact? Your class and your generation enjoy the challenge of how to make use of technology and making the world around us a safer and better place. Which one of you today will develop the next Facebook? Make it easier for people in every community to vote, or make sure that veterans and their families aren't overwhelmed when they're looking for resources that can truly help them? Who will be part of the movement to end veteran homelessness, to bring all the schools across our country in the 21st century, and to ensure that poverty-stricken countries around the world are lent a helping hand? Which one of you or your veteran friends will be elected to Congress on a platform of bipartisanship and collaboration? Any of this is possible, and that is why anyone here would trade places with you right now. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be easy. You will definitely have to work hard, and it'll probably take you a while to figure out exactly where you want to be in life. Also, not everyone is going to value your military service the same way that we do. And I don't say that to discourage you in any way, but just to be perfectly honest with you. And I'm sure you can appreciate that. In the military, we pride ourselves on being straight up with each other. And I want you to be mentally prepared as you walk out into the world. After you get your degrees, you already have life experience that none of your civilian peers have, but it's good to have your eyes wide open at all times. With that in mind, I really want to encourage you to take advantage of all the resources that are available to you as veterans. Are you looking for mentorship? Do you want to get your resume in front of thousands of potential employers? Do you want to start your own business? Do you want to go back and get another degree? Do you want to talk with other warriors about post-traumatic stress in a secure and confidential environment? Well, there are organizations that address all these issues right here in New York City and across the country as a whole. I'm confident that whatever area you may need a little bit of help in, a group already exists with dedicated people, often veterans themselves, who just want to help us. It may take a little bit of work to find that particular group or to connect with the right people, but do those challenges sound like anything compared to what you've already done while serving our country? The way I look at it, this isn't a two-way rifle race. No one's shooting at us. We're not humping gear and protective armor all over the place. And as hot as it gets here, as hot as it is today, and as hot as it gets here in the summer, it's nothing compared to some of the places we've been. As I said earlier, none of you are here on your own. And if you were to go back and ask that one really important person What's one thing they wish they had more of? I guarantee you, to a person, it wouldn't be money, it wouldn't be power, it wouldn't be some material good. To the person, I bet they would say they wish they had more time. Time to spend with you, time to connect with other people, time to see the world, time to give back to their communities. Nobody goes to their deathbed wishing they had worked more. They always wish they had more time. So that's the best advice I can give all of you today, is to use your time wisely. Make those connections and dive into a fulfilling career after you leave here, or go back to grad school and get another degree. But make sure you take the time to give back to your communities, wherever it is you came from, or wherever it is that you want to be next, and take care of others around you. By the sheer fact that you're graduating from John Jay, you're automatically ahead in one way or another of so many who would love to be walking across that stage with you. And I urge you to never forget that. Now, my wife, Dahlia, who was then my girlfriend when I was injured, has been the number one factor to my successful reintegration back into society and adaptation to my new normal. She's been there for me time and time again and helped me overcome the toughest obstacles, and now we're an inseparable team. In fact, she was the one who really encouraged me to get help and go to counseling for post-traumatic stress, which I did for 18 months. And that was one of the best decisions I could have ever made. That being said, I know that life can be very difficult and that we all face challenges. But take it from me when I tell you that life is beautiful and sweet and precious and something we should cherish, not just get through. Over the last 8 or 9 years, I've tried to serve as a role model in our Wounded Warrior community. And that way I know I'm pushing myself in the right direction, but I'm also lending a helping hand to others who I may have the ability to help. I imagine as you go forth today and over the next couple of weeks, there'll be plenty of opportunities for you to lead from the front and serve as role models in your communities as well. The American public expects a lot from our veterans, and that's something each of you should embrace, not shy away from. Today's generation of warfighters owes so much to the Vietnam generation, folks like Gerry, who we know were treated terribly when they returned home, and that's still a stain on our nation's honor. And now it's up to you and your peers to take care of the next generation. We can see what's going on around the world today, that unfortunately war is not going away, and neither is our presence on the global scene. I hope that's something you remember as you progress in your careers and are in a position to help other young veterans who in a few years will be sitting in the same chairs that you are today. You probably take for granted that you show up for work and class on time. You keep your workplace tidy, and you meet deadlines in a responsible way. You also probably take for granted that you're comfortable taking leadership roles when it's appropriate, and that you're comfortable working with people who may not look or talk like you. And you probably take for granted that the school or work day doesn't always end at 1800. 6 o'clock. You gotta start saying that. Well, you take that for granted because of how you spent the last 4, 8, or 12 years of your lives and whom you surround yourselves with. Most of your civilian peers are not like this. You were successful in your military careers, and you have all the basic building blocks to be successful now in your civilian careers, however it is that you choose to define that success. Your history of service to our country, along with your new degree, is a fantastic combination. Just as you are constantly encouraged to take decisive action in the military, you have to do that now and forge your own path forward. Just remember, you have a lot of people ready to stand by you and support you with whatever decision it is that you make. I'm sure that George Grant and Jordan Bueller didn't wake up on October 18, 2006, planning on saving my life. They just reacted to the situation around them based on who they are at their core, based on their training and who they are at their core. Compassionate, selfless, faithful, and committed to the greater good. My question for you as you walk off the stage in the next couple of weeks, what kind of person are you going to be? Thank you all very much.
A little explanation about a guidon in the military. You've probably seen the little pennants. A guidon is really historical, and anyone who has ever, probably like Justin, been a company commander in the military knows about that guidon. That guidon symbolizes the company, but in the historic sense, you know, sort of the man-on-man battlefield, the guidon said, the leaders here. The best veteran program in the City University of New York is here. And it isn't because of even the students. It's not even because of LaTanya Everett, who is the greatest certifying official in the whole world. It's because President Travis went out before, and as he told us today, he heard from veterans, and he committed this college to having the best program in New York. And you see it in the way we grow. You see it in the success of these great students. You see it in the support our faculty and staff give the students. You see it in our student government when they want a representative and say, who is our campus? They invite in veterans. So President Travis, as you've come forward.
President Travis, on behalf of the Veterans Association, with honor from us, we would like to present to you our John Jay Veterans Association guidon for all your dedication towards us, and as a token of our appreciation to you as you move forward and to new things in your career that God is bringing you to. And I just want to say thank you.
Before Sade says the last words, I just have to tell you how much this means to me. So there are many things I'm very proud of at John Jay as I start the next chapter in my life, which will be very exciting and challenging in very different ways. And it's a long list of great things that have happened here at the college. But really, making it possible for you to just realize the dreams that you talked about so passionately here, that everything is possible. And if that can be the John Jay chapter of your life for hundreds and hundreds of returning service members, then I feel we've done exactly what we should do, which is to educate for justice, because that's part of our democracy, is having engaged citizens. So this means so much to me. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Before I close, I'd like to say real quick, from one Marine to another, the keynote speaker, you have inspired me tremendously, and you embody everything of a hero. So I'm honored to be here with you, sharing this moment with you. So thank you very much.